If I got to talk to my younger self and tell him that Edgar Wright is going to do an adaptation from Stephen King, younger me would have flipped out. The Running Man stars Glen Powell and is about a man joins a game show in which he can go anywhere in the world but is pursued by hunters. From director Edgar Wright, one of my favorite directors, he previously did Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, World's End, and Baby Driver. We're talking his brand new movie, The Running Man. When they announced they were remaking The Running Man, I was like, really? That 80s action, cheesy Arnold Schwarzenegger movie? I've only seen that movie one time in my life. I have not seen it in a long time. But when they announced it, I was just so confused. And then they said Edgar Wright was going to direct it. And I was like, okay, I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued. So I went to this movie pretty excited to see a new Edgar Wright movie, but like I just had to lower my expectations because I love all of his movies. My least favorite is actually Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which might be shocking, but like Last Night in Soho is super underrated in my opinion. I love the Cornetto trilogy, Baby Driver. I love him. I love his style. I love Edgar Wright. And to see a new movie in a theater in IMAX today from him, that alone just got me excited to see his new movie. And unfortunately, I'm here to tell you, this is now my new least favorite Edgar Wright movie. Again, this is not a garbage bad movie, but when I look at his filmography, this will be the one I will less rewatch in my lifetime, but it's not bad. So let's get straight into this review. Biggest positive is Glen Powell. I know a lot of people say he is everywhere right now, and I can get the annoyance, but he is a very good actor. In this movie, he does a lot of good job with like performing at intense, comedic, dramatic beats in the movie, and he perfectly does it. I really liked Glen Powell in this role. He was very entertaining. He is a great leading man for an action movie, a comedy movie, and a romance movie. We've seen it all done before. He continues to be very impressive. There is a lot of people in this cast. Everyone, for the most part, was very good. I thought Emilia Jones, she was very good. I loved her from Coda. She has a small part, but I did like her role. William H. Macy. Lee Pace is in this movie as one of the hunters. I love Lee Pace. There's a lot of people in this movie. Michael Cera's in one little role. This movie has a big, fun cast, and I feel like everyone in this cast knew how to play their roles because this movie is big and wacky. I mean, when you have Coleman Domingo as the TV show host, which was a perfect casting, then you have like the billionaire evil antagonist Josh Brolin, who they just perfectly match the tone of this movie when it was needed. But we'll get to those issues. I will say about that. I just feel like everyone, for the most part, played the part that they were supposed to do. And the movie's got a lot of action. It's got a lot of fun action scenes. Not my favorite action scenes from Edgar Wright. I mean, he has done some classic ones in my opinion, some really good ones. I mean, just look at Baby Driver in general. Nothing is as good as those movies, but this movie has fun action. There's really cool set pieces, some green screen CGI that did bother me a little bit, but when there was practical sets and practical explosions and practical movement of the camera with a lot of great action through hallways, like, there is really good work here, and it's due to Edgar Wright. He's a very talented director. I'm glad to see him finally make another movie again, and even though it is a Stephen King adaptation, I would love to see him do a horror movie from one of his novels, but the action genre is fine with me. Edgar Wright does a very good job. For the most part, though, I did walk out of this movie saying, it was fine. It's watchable. It's entertaining enough because my biggest issue is the tone, which also affects the pacing a lot. This movie, in my opinion, which I have not read the book, is trying to be more truthful to the book. It's not a remake from the 80s movie from Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I feel like they're trying to bring some of that cheesiness for those fans while also being a very intense and dramatic story about a father trying to save his daughter from the flu and trying to get $1 billion. Like, it's a story you've seen done before, but it's more fun because it's on a game show and that they gotta have TV ratings and there's 3 of them running around the entire United States basically, and they're trying to all run away from getting killed. Like, it's a fun concept, but this movie really starts off strong. I feel like the first 30 minutes, before the Running Man show starts, I was really into it. I was like, all right, we got a good family foundation. We got a good reason we can pull for Glen Powell. There's a little bit of comedy, a little bit of fun action. But there comes a point when the show starts, it gets really corny and goofy while also trying to have those dramatic beats, have intensity a lot in the third act with like a big reveal. And then it comes to a point where it feels like this movie would have been a great 7-episode season, because there's literal subplots throughout the entire movie with different characters, like Amelia Jones' character in the third act. You got Michael Cera's character in one part. You have this one family that tries to help him out in one part. And it just feels like each part in this movie feels like its own little story. And I know the movie itself is a TV show, but in reality, this would have been a better TV show, in my opinion, because the pacing and the inconsistent tones for each part of this movie really didn't work for me at all. Like, honestly, there was a lot of comedy, fell flat. It felt like they were trying to be Looney Tunes. Then there was really good intense scenes. I'm like, this is really well done. There was a nice little touch of like intensity in the third act with like Lee Pace's character and Glen Powell. But again, each section had its own subplot. Like the Michael Cera subplot, I didn't really like. I thought Michael Cera was kind of bad in this movie. I didn't find him funny at all. I didn't like any of that. William H. Macy, it felt dramatic. It felt close to the character. And then it got really intense. And then we're in a hotel scene of Glen Powell being naked on the side of the roof, trying to sneak back into his room. Like, you see what I mean? The movie has a really weird balance, and it's a 2-hour and 15-minute movie, and it felt long. It felt long. And then the third act, which I'm interested to see what people say about the third act. I thought the third act was a fucking mess. As soon as we get to this plane, there are so many little characters that have subplot reveals that affect the storyline, that affect the actual outcome of the movie, and it loses focus, and I thought it was a mess. A total mess. It's entertaining, but it's also anticlimactic. It's one of those endings where intensity reaches a level, and the movie literally pauses and has someone explain the ending, and then we have like 5 more minutes, and then it just ends. It was so anticlimactic to me, and the actual resolution of this movie, I don't know how I forget how the original movie ended. I don't know how the book ends, but this ending was like, really? Like, that's how you end it? That's how you get to this ending, is this way? I did not like the ending. So, for the most part, it's entertaining, it's watchable, it has its funny moments, it has moments that you're like, wow, this is really entertaining, but I think it's really inconsistent in its tone. The pacing sucks, the third act is a complete mess, and I walked out of the movie saying this was very meh. Like, I would never care to watch this again, and I hate that because I love Edgar Wright. But when you watch an Edgar Wright movie, there's style to it. When you watch an Edgar Wright movie, you know you're watching one of his movies. This is the first time I watched one of his movies, and I was like, this feels like anyone could have directed this movie. I'm going to give The Running Man a C-. So unfortunately for the year of 2025, this is one of my biggest disappointments. And I only say that because I'm a big Edgar Wright fan. So if you're a fan of the book or the original movie, or you don't care about anything and you just want to see a Glen Powell action movie, go see it. Form your own opinion. You might like it more than me, but I went to this movie as an Edgar Wright fan, and I left disappointed a lot in that department. I love the man. The movie's definitely watchable. It's easy watch. It's not horrendous or anything, but it's such a big meh, and it could have been way better. Like, easily way better. So anyway, guys, you guys enjoy this movie review. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, everybody.